Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we have a good show for you today. Today is the match that you've been all been waiting for. But these 12 people right now in our match, plus the substitutes, are all trying to become the best of the best that OTC has to offer. And now they are here. But in order to become the best of the best here on OTC, in order to get the win, they must learn one thing. Un for tous et tous pour un. In other words, all for one and one for all. And that's how we start our all-star game. And we have the teams one for all against all for one. And joining me here on the color side, my name is Clutchy. Joining us here on the color side is Pulse. What's going on, my man?
Pretty good. We had the EU game earlier today. It was a clean sweep by the Capulets, and for some reason, I just got a feeling I'm not really going to be seeing this year. I feel like All for One and One for All are going to be going head to head pretty hardcore here.
And it's gonna be a great match as well because I like the one for all for one. We had a family feud, Montagues and Capulets earlier. We saw the Capulets sweep up the series 4-0 in a very convincing fashion. But as we all know, that is the All-Star game, and everybody has their own All-Star premiere. And this could be it because some of these we haven't seen. Some of these players we may not have seen before. Some of these players we have seen before. So we've seen them regularly play their games, and now, like we said earlier, back in the EU times, this is the first time that in a while, unless something else happened, this is the first time in a while or first time in forever that they are playing with each other, and it's going to be interesting to see how they manage to deal with each other. So what are you expecting? Now we saw the EU game. What are you expecting from the NA game?
Just a lot of ult usage. And NA usually just has a more tendency to kind of rush in there and kind of take more teams, while EU players kind of have this tendency to dance around each other. They like the long fights, when in this situation, they like to take each other head on. And I feel like we're going to see that coming out here. I mean, both these teams look geared up and ready to go. There's a lot of great players on here. I mean, me, Rien, and even you, Klutchki, we've casted these players before in the past. We've done their games before, and I see some very recognizable names on this list, and I'm super excited for this first map being Nepal.
And Nepal, a very, very pretty map, at least because you have 3 maps that are so well designed. It's very artistically designed, and this is a combination of basically the artwork of a great artwork team of Overwatch. And now you're going to see the first map, Shrine, here. Very open concept map up until you get to the Shrine part itself and the staircase going on, and just a combination of everything. But now we're going to see what these teams are made of here as we assemble the heroes phase. So what are you expecting here from team comp-wise from both sides?
I've casted Randall Foe before, and he's shown me to be a very, very great Pharah player. So that's what I'm kind of expecting to see coming out here, especially on this map. It's just never mind. It seems that Pro Gamer will take that. So it took the words right out of my mouth, but still, just, I expect to see some Pharmacy. Hanzo's very popular pick here as well, just because that is the meta going into this right now. And I expect to see a lot of Ryan Zarya tank compositions coming out for both sides. I mean, that's like such a huge play, but Bryce T in the past has shown himself to be a really great D.Va player. D.Va's kind of his comfort pick. And look at that on the side of the red team, Bryce T, and never mind, they will switch to the Ryan Zarya, so look at that. They are going to run almost mirror comms, except for the DPS line being a little bit different.
And so now we're going to see the point unlocked. 20 seconds left now, and we're going to see the teams come out and show off their stuff here. The first map being first map here on Nepal being Shrine, and already a fast start off by let me see. This is going to be by All for One, starting us off here on the point. They're going to play aggressively, and right now, so far, it is so good right now for the aggressors on the All for One side. 3-1 on the point right now, but it still looks like they're just pushing and shoving at this point. And Bryce T takes down Fixer, which is a huge tank kill right now, and Big Head taking care of the rest on the support side. So to be All for One that takes the first point here on Shrine.
Yeah, and if nobody really knows, Rien is a casting partner of mine that I cast with him pretty often, and he is in this game. So, he was the last one standing there in that fight, and they are going to have a full-on reset today. He's playing the Zarya, and these teams, the comp looks like it could work with the Brigitte and the Hanzo kind of being the main damage dealer. But VMD is low, and ooh, that'll be a big stagger.
Big stagger as the Zenyatta goes down. And here comes the Rocket Barrage by Pro Gamer. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3, that's 4. Santa Maria! What a play by Pro Gamer. And already that Rocket Barrage coming in clutch for the team from All for One. And a 1 for All just cannot find the answer to start off your 35% already. Well, we already have ourselves a play of the game opportunity for All for One.
Yeah, and we're going to watch the replay here real quick, but man, what a great play that was. Axiom is going to switch over to this McCree to kind of counter that Pro Gamer Pharah, and I think that's a great choice because look what happens if Pro Gamer runs unchecked. Huge plays.
And so 54% now, halfway to the first point here for All for One, and looking good for them so far. Just trying to get a few picks here. Pro Gamer still on this Pharah, the biggest threat to the team from One for All right now. It's going to be a battle here to see if One for All can get to the point. Now
Ooh,
all
yeah.
for one. Looking to try and defend this point, but right now Axiom starts off with a kill on Big Head, so it's looking good for them right now. And the res is going to come up for Big Head right in time. Graviton Surge coming in with a huge Arc Shatter. That pretty much gets everyone. Fixer's going to swing the hammer away. That's one, that's two, that's three, and that's a quadruple kill for Fixer. Santa Maria. What a play from Fixer there. And all six people are going to get on the point. 86% of the way from one for all rather. And one for all has themselves a great play. But now they got to hold it all the way because all for one is at 86%. They cannot make any more mistakes at this point.
Yeah, and the combination between Fixer and Rien, just great coordination there. You know, they have both had their ults, and usually with two tank ults, it's hard to do something with it, but then, man, did they pop off in a big way, and there's a shatter right there.
And now the Death Blossom comes out, gets one, gets two, gets three. Santa Maria. What a play by Randolfo. I've said that 3 times, but that's because there's so many big plays coming out from both sides. 2 coming from the all for one side and 1 for the one for all side. 93%. They got to rush here because of that team kill. They got to rush here. One for all trying to dive bomb. Now the Tracer, the only one that can get there, or the Lucio. 99. Can they get there?
Ooh.
Oh, and the Lucio misses the wall.
Yeah,
and Football just cannot get over the wall in time. And so the first round will go to the team from all for one, winning that point pretty much 100% all the way through. And they pretty much had that. So now it's up to one for all to win it back here on Village.
Yeah, one for all needs to kind of get it together, and you know they had some great plays there, like the combination between the grab, just the ult usage from both these teams are kind of shown to be their shining point. You know, that's just NA players in general, people. Like that's really what we've come to expect. But the Overwatch has been turning into a kind of a press Q to win game. But hey, both these teams still are showing some mechanical skill, especially Pro Gamer. He was on that Pharah, and now he's going to be on the Lucio, giving Iron Crit time to play a little DPS because he is going to play on this main, just kind of control the map, and I think that's going to be a huge advantage for Randolfo.
And right now, so we're going to see that the huge advantage from Randolfo right there gave all for one pretty much the win on that triple kill, and now it's going to be up to one for all to try and take this back and take it to the Sanctum, because right now this village point is being taken over by all for one. So you can see right down the middle, right in the middle of the payload, they're pretty much going to get a fast take on this unless anybody can stop it from one for all. It's just an easy take for them. First strike goes to all for one.
Yeah, the res will come in, but look at that, all for one. Talking about their name, I mean, all for one, one as a team. I mean, like they all move together. Axiom is actually going to bring down Randolfo, so that's huge.
And a huge pick as well, Pro Gamer. How about this? We saw Pro Gamer on the Pharah earlier. Now on the Lucio, still getting those kills, still racking up kills here as that Lucio, and still showing off why he is called Pro Gamer at this point. Because right now, all for one, just playing all for one, and all meaning at this point not for all for one team, but right now they're looking to play all for one more point.
Yeah, all for one more win, so they can go up. Remember, guys, this is a best of 7. This is not like the normal best of 5. So it's 4 matches to win, and we could be in for a long ride here, ladies and gentlemen.
A long ride indeed, as we're going to see already 45% covered by all for one, and now they're going to try and head into the room. Randolfo in close quarters here, very dangerous with those shotguns, could be deadly. And Iron Crit right now on the main takes down Centennial, so right now all for one in the driver's seat holding this point, and another reset is going to have to have to be taken by one for all, but they need to find an answer quick because 63% and all for one's looking dominant right now. But you have the ult economies coming up, 3 ults coming up for all for one, but the dangerous one for all has that Graviton Surge coming up as well.
Oof, yeah, there's a big shadow. Look at that. A lot of kills are going to be pouring out here. Look at that, man.
And Centennial gets a double pulse bomb, says, you know what? 1/3 of the team is mine. I got this instantly. Gets the pulse bomb that they need. Gets the flip that they need. But it's pretty much the same deal. 81%. They had 86% when they flipped it first back on the shrine, and now it's 81% here in the village. So they need to hold this point all the way, and it has to be a different story for them this time.
Yeah, and they do have a lot of delay ults. They could grab off the point. They could use the Transcendence to kind of keep their team alive for a long time. But here comes a Blizzard, so we'll see if anybody gets caught in it.
And here comes VMD with the Transcendence. Graviton Surge being called at the same time, so really no follow-up on either side here from that Graviton Surge. Now the Dragon Blade comes out from Axiom, and they're all in close quarters, so this could be a few swings for him. He gets 1, he gets 2. Fixer's going to take care of the rest. Now the Earth Shatter comes in, takes down 2 people at the same time, but is it going to be enough? And it is not. The hammer just keeps swinging away. And how much closer can you get to taking over that point? All for One can barely see that sliver to take down that point, but it's One for All that gets there just in the nick of time, and they still have the point going. They're halfway to victory.
Yeah, you do have to be careful though, because all you really do is have an Earth Shatter, and you have to, land a big one, because look at all the ults that the other team has. Bryce T has that Graviton Surge, and you have to be careful. You don't want to group up.
And now that Earth Shatter being used, that's going to get almost the entire team there. That's 4 people going down. And Fixer's going to have himself a swing swing with his hammer here, try and get some few players. The only one left, sorry, is just trying to swing away now in the back line, though. You're going to see Iron Crit being taken down Axiom. So right now, that's going to be huge, but Centennial on this Tracer, so far so good, showing up to play. Iron Crit's just going to take away his reign, though. Valkyrie gets popped by Foot Moms and tries to get the res just in time to get Rian before he dies by the hands of Big Head's hammer. So right now, it's still a hold here, 89%. We finally see One for All take the lead on the point. So we're going to see if they can hold it all the way now. As really, it's just a push and shove match to get off. Randolfo coming in big here with a few kills on both Rian and VMD. And another flip is probably going to happen, because the only one left on this point is Centennial, who's not going to be able to help capture that point on a 4v1 situation. So right now, All for One has the point. No more mistakes can happen for One for All here, because they need to take over this point to take this to game 3.
Yeah, One for All needs to be careful of this high noon right now, and they will just hide behind the big Reinhardt shield. But since the advantage was on our side, I mean, look at that shatter, huge. They're gonna move on to this point.
And now everybody just basically using their ults, because All for One knows that they have the point. Everybody goes down on the team kill, and that is it. All for One now up 1-0.
Yes, All for One, great plays all around. Man, they had such good coordination. Bryce T and Big Head especially. The team kind of stuck together the whole time, but Centennial is going to get the play on the Pharah. He was on Tracer that last second, but they used the pop off here, and this was just the combination with the Gravs and the Shatter, and that was kind of more of Big Head's or Fixer's play, rather. But still, huge plays coming out here for All for One.
And All for One coming out with a big 2-0 score, but that doesn't really reflect what we saw back on the One for All side. So they have some good plays coming up, and I believe, give me 1 second here, I believe we have ourselves a message coming up on the screen right now. And while we're waiting for the next map to come up from the teams, we'd like to remind you that we are on Twitter for @OT Champs, and you should give us a follow, because we sometimes do giveaways over there, and you can stay up to date with the latest OTC news by giving it a follow. Once again, that is @OT Champs on Twitter. Give us a follow and drop us by and maybe say hello here and there and tag us in a few posts, when you're playing, so that we can get into it and stuff like that. So yeah, make sure you guys go ahead and drop a follow on the OT Champs Twitter page. And yeah, so we'll move on to our next map, which is Eichenwald. So very not too popular of a map choice, but that is the map that we are playing in Eichenwald, the hybrid map that is coming up next. We're gonna see if One for All can come back, or if All for One can strike fear once again and make it 2-0 at pretty much the first 2 rounds.
All right, yeah. I mean, the hybrid map, everything that's normal goes away in the wind in All-Star games. There is no norms here because these players are the best of the best. So we'll see how this works out. And like you said, Eichenwald was their choice for the hybrid map. And this is, like you said, this is not a map that we see too often. But that's all right. So it's just unique teams coming out here.
And so we will see some of the heroes, what these teams do in their case, because pretty much that was a great battle. The time, it's just All for One had the better team composition and had the better communication with each other to get everything going. One for All just needs to figure one thing out, and that's communication, basically, because they had the skill level to do that. It was just a little bit of a mix up on some places, but I think One for All can make a difference here if they can get it together. So 45 seconds left to go. They're going to be the first one to defend here on Eichenwald, and you're going to see pretty much the same team comp here. as we saw back on Nepal, Axiom on the Pharah, and Centennial on the McCree. Everything else basically stays the same. All for one, unless they change here, is pretty much going with the same thing. Randolfo is going to play Widow, which you saw him play Randolfo's on Reaper earlier, and Iron Crit now on the Pharah, unless they decide to switch. But right now, the team comps look to be set.
Yeah, and Iron Crit going against Axiom, I think that's huge just because that gives Randolfo an opportunity to look up into the sky while Axiom is busy fighting Iron Crit and is able to, take a shot on him. And I think that could be such a huge thing. And that's the same job on Centennial. He needs to be that hit scan to take out that Pharah. And these two are essentially just trying to counter each other. And this defense looks like it could hold for a while. So I like the comps coming out.
All right, and we will go ahead and see what these teams can do here. First attack goes to All for One. They're going to try and get under that archway bridge here because that is one of pretty much one of only two entrances to get up there unless you go right on over or around the map, basically. That's the only other way you can get through. And right now they're just going to elect to go. Iron Crit, on the other hand, though, getting picks in the background and really nobody there to stop him. Iron Crit's just there going one after the other on their rockets. His aim cannot be better at this point right now. He's just hitting everything, and Rodolfo gets the pick on Axiom as well. But how about this Pharah from Iron Crit? Just basically gets half the team without the res there. Basically half the team with kills. And right now, All for One striking fear into One for All's team. And so they are going to have themselves the first egg. Question is anybody going to defend it? And the answer is no. All for One's going to have themselves the payload moving with 5:26 on the clock.
Yeah, One for All tried to hold that front line, but if you hold that front line, you kind of essentially ignore the Pharah, and ignoring the Pharah is really not a good situation. We saw how that worked out last map, and we saw how it worked out this map. Your whole team has to fall back, and Iron Crate is still putting the pressure on them. That Pharmacy comp is in the air, but Randolfo on this Widowmaker now is going to try to take him out.
So 5 minutes on the clock. The payload is moving. Here comes the rocket barrage from Iron Crate. Gets one, gets two, gets Axiom and Centennial in the background. So both DPSs from the All for One team is gone, and no chance of a res here because pretty much Footmom is going to save it, either that or used it earlier already. And now the Valkyrie comes out from Footmom, trying to see if he can kill his team before this next team fight. Earthshatter comes in, only is going to get Pro Gamer in the process, and Big Head and Fixer tackle each other down to the ground, but it's Big Head that's going to win that battle. Now All for One pushing this payload with ease, and we see a Battle Mercy take down a Widow. How rare is that? And Iron Crate is going to take down Footmob for getting that Battle Mercy out. It says, you bring the pistol out, and I bring the rocket out. And so we're gonna bring down the hammer on him. So this payload keeps moving, and right now they get it around the first 2 turns, and this is just easy game for All for One right now.
Yeah, and there was a little miscommunication, it seemed like, to be between Fixer and the rest of his team. He kind of went for that shatter in the backline, and no one was there to follow up. And you see, he was one of the first ones to fall. And Rian is putting a lot of pressure here, and he's going to get booped off. Insane.
Gets booped off, and now the Rocket Barrage coming in, not really going to get anybody from Axiom, as Axiom punished by Iron Crate, not even needing to use that Rocket Barrage. And very good discipline on the side for All for One there. Could have used some ults, but none coming from them, and they're going to save it for the next team fight because now they have 5:15 to push it all the way home to the 3rd point.
They did use one ult. It was Transcendence, and that's what canceled out the Pharah barrage. But I think that is another misplay from One for All. You definitely want to make sure that their enemy's end has popped that ult before you try to do a combination with like a grab barrage. So you do have to be more careful. And Fixer is on the front line getting very pressured.
So now we're going to see All for One come into the final stretch here. 4:45 left. Now the Graviton Surge comes in along with the Transcendence from VMD, and that is going to save him because Iron Crate does use that Rocket Barrage. But VMD with the save there on the Transcendence, as 4 people were in that Graviton Surge. No follow-up to come there, but it's still All for One that's winning the battle here, and VMD trying his best on this on the Zenyatta. Gets the Earthshatter to come off right away, and Fixer has himself 2 kills, as well as VMD on the Zenyatta with 2 kills himself. So right now, this team for One for All, finally, after a while, we finally get to see One for All with a good defensive hold.
Yeah, they are going to hold it, and they have to use that spawn advantage to their favor. It is practically all the way there, but you could still hold it for a very long time. And All for One, they definitely wanted to take it with that huge time advantage over 4 minutes, but they are going to be able to be pushed back here, and we'll see if this is how this holds out.
So now we're going to see if All for One can have another push here, because you see their ult economy coming up, 2 ults with the Transcendence and Valkyrie. Not much else coming up here, and the Transcendence is going to get popped by Pro Gamer. Now a Riptire from Centennial in the background. Not going to get anybody there, so the Riptire is failed. The only two ults they have left coming up, the Tac Visor from the Soldier, as well as the Earth Shatter from Fixer. The payload's already in the home stretch. This is a fast move. Final 2.15 meters left to go. And now the Earth Shatter basically getting 3 people. Big Head's going to get everybody there. Axiom finally has to pull out the Tac Visor. Not much there. VMD pops the Transcendence to stall time right now for one for all. But and Rien gets back in the mech just in time for Big Head notices, and the hammer just swings away all the damage on All For One side right now. Graviton Surge there to stall out, and what a play that is. Once again, we saw this back in the EU games. The Graviton Surge there to stall out any chance of a team play going, and All For One has 3 points to start us off here. And with 2:58 left on the clock, that still is pretty impressive going into the try for one for all.
Yeah, definitely. That's a pretty big, huge time bank for All For One, and you know that's really what they wanted here. That's the kind of show that they wanted to put out here in this All-Star game, and you know the threat of going up 2-0 is kind of looming here for one for all, and they definitely don't want that, but they are going to try to come out here and show a better offense. It's just that they got overpowered, it seems like All For One always stuck together. You never really saw them far apart. When one for all, you know, you'd see the Reinhardt way far back from his, you know, backline support, and it just doesn't seem like they were as grouped up as All For One is, and All For One was kind of running a death ball-ish comp, and when you have that running towards you, that's just very scary.
And so now we're going to see the team comps come out, All For One coming out with their defense now. And you're going to see Randolfo sticking with the sniper, but instead of the Widowmaker, now is going to play with the Hanzo. So this is a more or less interesting pick for Randolfo, but still a sniper. And you're going to see he is the only DPS on that side because Iron Crate elects to play the Brigitte now. So 3 supports, 2 tanks, and only 1 DPS, and they're relying on Randolfo to provide the damage.
Yeah, definitely. And this is going to be a very hard attack just running in to the enemy team over there on the side. I mean, Hanzo just creates so much space with his Storm Arrow, and then his Dragon can essentially cut off like a whole choke if it needs to. Brigitte will hold that front line with Big Head on the Reinhardt. So we'll see how this comes out here. And Axiom, I think it's up to Axiom's job to kind of take out, to get an opening pick, because if you want value out of this Widowmaker, you do need to find that back line.
So we're going to see one for all on their first attack here, and now All For One holding off for the defense here. See if they can hold them all the way. They have lots of space, though. They have two points and 67.69 meters to give here to one for all, and Fixer showing off why he's an all-star with that. Reinhardt coming in, gets a double kill to start, and Big Head's going to end that reign as Adam gets the res on Pro Gamer. So right now, All For One has the momentum, and Randolfo, like you said, with this Hanzo, gets them D-Mech on Rien, and also gets the double kill on both Axiom and Rien out of mech. So right now, it is one for all, almost out of options here, because All For One's just basically in the driver's seat telling them what to do and where to go.
Yeah, if you're one for all, you definitely need to stop being overpowered like you are right now. The tank play needs to just be a little bit more coordinated. It feels like Fixer is kind of the leader in that. Fixer feels like he'll just charge in, and then the rest of the team has to catch up to him. When it feels like on the side of All For One, you know, it feels the exact opposite, and Rian's going to get demeched here, and that's huge, and that's just the opportunity to move in, and Randolfo is going to take down Centennial.
And so right now, it still looks like All For One is basically just overpowering one for all, and they cannot get underneath that bridge. But you saw with the Pharah when earlier from, I believe it was it was either Pro Gamer or it was one of the players from All For One. I do apologize for forgot who was on that Pharah, but that Pharah did come over and basically just started getting people, and it might have been Pro Gamer as well, but comes over the bridge and really not doing anything, but Centennial playing a little more passive in the background.
Yeah, and I just saw Axiom on that Widowmaker get a headshot on the Pro Gamer, but because of the Brigitte armor, you know, he lived through it, and that's just the value that Brigitte can bring. But Brigitte down, and Rian goes down as that trade, so we'll see if this will make a difference.
And Big Head getting the D-Mech as well as 2 swings of the hammer to Fixer and Rian, so both sides really just All For One finally showing up here. VMT gets himself a double kill, and that's going to help out because those are 2 huge picks, and Axiom going to help out with a kill of his own on Pro Gamer. So right now, the point is one for all to control Now the first tick. The question is, are they going to try and contest it? Iron Crit sitting right there on the point, but Centennial right there to try and to block him out. And a 1-for-all already has the good start here, but they don't have as much time as All for One does. They only have 4 minutes to push this point.
Yeah, they do only have 4 minutes, and the ult economy looks like almost fair on each side, though All for One does have one more ult in their pocket. They do have the Mercy ult, so we'll see how that brings out in this fight here. We didn't see it earlier, but Centennial got a boop, got the environmental onto Bryce T, it knocked him off, and that was just a pretty big stagger, and they're going to hold this high ground here, rally to get all their armor up, and then she's going to drop down herself.
And so there we go, Graviton Surge coming in, that pretty much gets the entire team. And the Dragon Strike coming in, self-destruct. Also, Rian's gonna have himself 1 kill on Bryce T, taking him down and punishes him for even trying that Graviton Surge. And right now, the driver's seat and moved on over to 1-for-all as they have the payload moving further and further. And Rian coming in with the Diva. I think finally something snapped because now Rian's playing a little more aggressively, gets the kills that he needs. And right now, 1-for-all moving this payload even further with 3 minutes left to go.
Yeah, 3 minutes left to go, but they don't need to worry about time bank. And, it kind of seems like they're not really going to get a better time bank, and that's not really what they're trying to go for. And look, this whole team's going to rotate out of here to the left side. And look at them. They're never really separate. All for One is always together.
And now we're going to see All for One group up here on the bridge. Places for environmentals to happen, so we may very well see this. And Footmob's going to res up Fixer. Almost an environmental kill with the rockets, but everybody stays alive. Iron Crit falls off the map, though. And so right now it is still All for One's to control. You can see the Mercy in the background. They're trying to save his tank Fixer in the background.
Yeah.
See if he gets there. Earth Shatter comes down on Adam rather, and that's gonna help out this payload because no more chances of heals or no more chances of reds coming up for the team from All for One. So that is huge. Payload moves even further, and now just a few meters away from completing it. And already we're gonna have 5 out of 6 players go down for the team on All for One, and now 1-for-all has themselves a good push. And now 3:30 on the clock. They may have more time than we expect.
Yeah, you need to carry that momentum over to this third point. I mean, did we see a lot often that they kind of bring this around this first bend and then they'll get held and, you kind of lose the momentum. You can't lose the momentum if you're 1-for-all here, especially if you want to make the full push. Rien is remexed, and we'll see if he can pop off here.
Rocket Brush coming in from Centennial to start, gets Randolfo in the process, and Pro Gamer's gonna just snipe Centennial out of the air, punishing him for trying. And Footmob's gonna bring back Centennial, hoping to bring back more damage here. And Adam right there, and in Centennial's range, gonna take him down. As Earth Shatter comes in, and Rien gets himself a double kill. So right now, Rien showing up with the Steve-O, gets himself a few kills, has the self-destruct ready as the payload makes the turn, and it's in the home stretch.
It is in the home stretch, and they definitely need to get on there. Oh, man, this is going to be a huge fight because there's a lot of ults for All for One. Oh, the Earth Shatter got canceled! And
the Earth Shatter absolutely canceled by Centennial. What a shutdown there. And round 2 is complete. And 1-for-all, I think something finally snapped in them. 243 to 258, a 15-second difference. And 1-for-all is going to have their try at the second round first.
Oh, man, they had 4 ults. All for One had 4 ults in their pocket, and they lost the round with all of them. Granted, the Earth Shatter did get canceled, so I'm assuming that was the opening move they wanted to use. And they have pretty much essentially close to the same time bank. Just like a 15-second difference, really. And we'll see if that 15 seconds does matter in NA games. Usually it does. You usually see this go into overtime, but hey. 1-for-all, you're right. Something absolutely snapped. They started coordinating, and I think it's just because they started moving as a unit. When I saw Fixer dive in there in the back, you pointed it out. He was behind the whole team of All for One, and I was afraid. I was afraid he was going to die, and then just have that whole push, mean absolutely nothing. But then, the Mercy flew over to kind of support him and kept him alive and gave him that opportunity to have the Earth Shatter to make it to the opening fight.
And so now we're gonna see if 1-for-all, they have a chance at another attack here. But if you're 1-for-all, you gotta feel pretty good because you have momentum with only a 15-second difference. And that is not a lot because that's probably just a walk up to the point, and that's about it. So 1-for-all has themselves a chance here to score some more points, but they gotta score in a flash because right now you saw earlier All for One holding them up until maybe about a minute or 2 minutes left to go.
Oof.
And already, yeah, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No, I mean, look at these opening picks, and that's a huge way to start a fight. Now the whole team's like rotated around, and they've essentially switched sides.
And already you can see the first 2 ticks being gained. How about this play from Centennial on the side of 1-for-all as Rien moves up to the Zarya. And how about that? I mean, 2:43 on the clock. They only needed 30 seconds to take the point. I mean, that's insane.
Yeah, that is absolutely insane. So they're going to go back into spawn, switch up their comp really quick. You know, all of them kind of went back to see. And look at all the ults that got restarted. 4 players switched. Only the tank line kind of stayed the same. But the DPS and the healers all switching up.
And we'll see if this works out for them. But like we saw back earlier on, All For One is going to stick up on the high ground right now. See if they can get anything going. I think Bresty fell off by accident, but now he's going to try and get back up. And now we're going to see them play lower, so now we're going to see them charge in. But the last time this battle happened, All For One came down, and All For One for All really getting there. Iron Crit though, and Randolfo, the double sniper combo coming out. Dragon Strike comes right down the middle on the payload, not going to get anybody, but how about this? Who needs one? You have 2 snipers, but you have a 3rd sniper in Pro Gamer right now. This is Zenyatta showing up with a kill on Footmob. And right now, All For One with a good defense of their own, 4 points and only 37.15 meters on this point. And you gotta wonder right now, can One For All push this all the way?
Yeah, and for All For One, I assumed because they lost, or because they dropped down from the high ground, they'd go retake it with the double snipers just kind of protecting Randall Foe. It's not even letting Centennial walk out of spawn right now. I mean, geez, he has the sights up, so he is, he can see through the walls. He knows where everyone is right now.
And so we are gonna see if All One For All with a little bit of a stagger can come back here. They're gonna move the payload just a little bit further. And they have only one person on the point right now. That's going to be Fixer and Rian right now. Axiom gets the starting pick on Randolfo, so that's going to be a good start for All For One, or sorry, One For All now. And we're going to see the Valkyrie be popped up by Footmob. Huge Earth Shatter, going to get 2 players, and with one swing and a hammer, Fixer's going to take down Pro Gamer and Adam, so no more heals coming up for the team from All For One, and that should allow One For All to come in and pretty much push this payload up some more meters. We're going to see them get into at least the 90-meter range here, unless All For One has anything to say anything about it.
Yeah, All For One does have a lot of ults, though, so we have to be careful.
Got to be careful indeed as it makes its way around turn number 3. Onto the bridge we go. This is the environmental possibility now. 2 players in the background, though. You're going to see the Zenyatta come out from VMD in the background. Axiom is going to dive in the hands of Iron Crit, and so now we are on the bridge. And now the Transcendence comes out from VMD to carry, and in a good timing as well, because now you have the Dragon Strike come out, and it's still in the hands of All For One. Basically, overtime is in their hands. Nobody else on the point, so close to point number 5, but a lot of meters happening for the team for One For All, and now they have a chance to win it right here. 2 points. They have, all they need is 1 point and 120.20 meters to give them a 2-0 lead coming up here in their next try. So a great round by both sides there. You saw All For One pretty much coming in and finally clicking together after One For All with a very aggressive offense to start off. Had their moments there going in, but finally All For One clicked it together and they finally stopped One For All's defense, One For All's attack in 120.20 meters. Now All For One needs a point as well as 120.21 meters on that payload in the second point to win here and go up 2-0. Otherwise, it is One For All's game to win here.
Yeah, and that was a great aggressive push, and you look, as I mentioned earlier, I mean, they kind of just carried the momentum over. One For All, they just carried their momentum over from the last match, and it took them a long time to get to that first point, but they were able to finally, turn on the Jets, and they pushed it all the way to 3 points, and then even here on this second time, they got the first point in 120 meters, so that's pretty huge. So we'll see if All For One can kind of match that momentum.
And we'll see if they can match the momentum because they have 2:58 on the clock. And like I said, 15 seconds is pretty much the only difference. And that's basically just a walk up to the point. But now we will see if One For All can hold them here. We're going to see the Orisa come out from Fixer. First time that I think I've seen the Orisa this game from him. And now they're going to try it out to get that shield play basically because Centennial now on the Roadhog. Trying to get some more damage with the tank, so we will see if that works out for them. In the meantime, All For One pushing up here, gets under the archway with ease. And Big Head still on the Reinhardt trying to make some plays. Still a little bit of a push and shove here, but it's not as fast of a take as we saw All For One have. One For All being, or All For All had All For One just basically playing a little bit back, and now they're finally going to charge the point.
Yeah, they're going to charge the point, and one of these tanks kind of has to have like a second DPS because Axiom's guys are going to be in the sky trying to take care of Iron Crit. So we have a lot of people falling here, and this could be bad news for One For All.
And all for one, 204 now, and they're finally probably going to get the point here because everybody on the team of One for All is dead. They're going to back up here, and now they're going to have the point, but One for All took it with 2 minutes and 5 seconds left to go. All for One moves the payload with 150 on the clock, and a 15-second difference once again.
Yeah, once again, 15-second difference. But this time the favor does go in One for All's favor instead of All for One. Look, they're going to try to take this high ground, especially with the Orisa, and try to use that hold to their advantage here. We'll see. They do definitely need to take care of Iron Crit. Iron Crit has been the thorn in their side this whole time, and they need to find a solution to it.
Find a solution indeed. They have to, because now you got Iron Crit with that Rocket Barrage, so you got to wonder when and if he's going to use that, because 120 on the clock here, this could be big. Bryce T almost has that Graviton Surge coming up at about 3/4 of the way there, and we'll see if he can get it. And already Axiom takes down Pro Gamer, so that's a good pick to start, because now Adam's going to pull off the Valkyrie, but it's still in the hands of One for All right now. Rocket Barrage in the background takes down VMD and takes down Fixer, so 2 huge kills for Iron Crit with that Rocket Barrage. The thorn in the side of One for All right now is Iron Crit. He's just going to keep moving along here. Not even a care in the world. Self-destruct comes in, and that placement is not going to be anywhere close. Axiom does take down Randolfo in the process, but right now it is All for One with advantage here. Take a look at the ult economy, though, because Pro Gamer does have the Transcendence coming up, and Axiom has that Tac Visor still saved up, and really not much coming on this Iron Crit. Already halfway to his ult, if he can get with the Graviton Surge from Bryce T, they pretty much may have won this game.
Yeah, and they're going to try to take the high ground here, try to peck at him from this bridge up top, and they're going to drop down and kind of pincer them, and look at them, half of them behind him, but the grab is going to come out here.
Graviton Surge is there, and Big Head's just going to swing away at Fixer, and they aim down on Rodolfo, and now the Tac Visor comes out from Axiom in background, but everybody notices that already, and Axiom just trying to hide his way out. And already it's still in the hands of All for One. They are in the driver's seat here, coming into the final 25 meters of this point. One for All needs to hurry up and get to this point. It is overtime, so this will be the final fight for both sides. Needs to get it in as the Earth Shatter does work there. Iron Crit is going to get the kill on Foot Mob. That's the most important kill, because now you lose your chance of any resistance or heals. And right now, All for One, the payload may not have a steering wheel, but they are in the driver's seat right now, moving this payload along. And so now the May is going to come out from Axiom, trying to stall as long as possible. The whole haul comes out from Centennial, but still the thorn in the side of One for All is Iron Crit. 2 big kills, and the only one left is VMD, who's going to go down. And All for One here on Eichenwald doesn't even need to storm the castle to take the crown away, or to take the throne, and they're up 2-0 here in the series.
Yeah, big plays coming out here. That was absolutely insane. Pro Gamer, you mentioned earlier, the 3rd sniper for that team. Pro Gamer was so good, and we're going to see how he was able to make this push go even farther. Look at that. Saved his whole team from, even more damage than could have happened. Oof, what a save there.
All right, so that was a very great game by both sides, but it's still, and we finally see One for All just finally get it together and click, but All for One just a better way to end that, because they pushed it all the way. But the biggest player right now on the All for One side, I think you would agree with me, is Iron Crit right now, because that Pharah is just deadly for All for One right now.
Yeah, absolutely. It's that Pharah. They just have no solution to it. And Iron Crit clearly feels comfortable on that Pharah. They're all all-stars, but Iron Crit is definitely showing why he is an all-star. And man, what a show he's putting on here for us. So our 3rd map is going to be Route 66. It's going to be an escort map, but we are going to go to a little bit of a break. So we'll see you guys in a little bit.
See you on the other side, folks. And we welcome you back here to the OTC match between One for All and All for One here for the All. Catch you up a little bit. Back on the first map, Nepal was a 2-0 victory for All for One and a 5-4 victory back on our last map on Eichenwald. Now it's One for All starting to try and get this point back, or will All for One rather take on a 3-0 lead and a best of 7 first to 4 matchup. Our next map is going to be Route 66. So what are we expecting from these two teams coming up?
These two teams, I just need to control the Thera. I mean, that's really been the kind of breaking point for both of these teams. I mean, both of these teams really have a hard time dealing with the Thera, and with one team has a Thera and the other team doesn't. I mean, man, that's just room for slaughter, and they definitely need to find an answer to that.
And needs to find an answer and quick right now, because it is a thorn in the side right now, as you're going to see the Assemble the Heroes phase up for both sides, and really Iron Crit has been the threat, and Iron Crit, something must be in those rockets, because each one of those rockets has been on point, and I know it's not aimbot, because he's been hitting everything. Although he's been hitting everything, you can see he just knows where everything's going to happen, and Iron Crit is just, you saw him back on Eichenwald too. He didn't even need a Mercy to push up aggressively, but he still did and got some more kills. So really, does All for One need to rely on Iron Crit more, or do they need to try and rely more on team plays?
I think you just need to rely more on just the team being together and coordinated. So we won't see a Pharah here coming out for Iron Crit. They're going to decide to run that dive comp with the Genji Tracer, and then the tank lines being that dive with Winston and Diva. And I think that's a good power comp. They're going to come out here on attack, unless they switch something up last second. But still, I think that's a very solid attack. They're going to be running into the Orisa. They're going to run into the pulled pork comp. Actually, they're going to run into Orisa Roadhog, and that's very close quarters fighting. And with a dive, I mean, you just have to be careful. Orisa just needs to control ground. If dive overtakes you, that could be very, very scary.
And so now we're going to go ahead and see what One for All has here, as they are going to first defend this. All for One is going to have themselves the first attack here, and basically they're just going to give up the first turn here, and they're just going to sit up on big Earls to give up a little bit of space. And so now we're going to see what both teams are made of here on Route 66. Who gets their kicks here as we move already around that little bit of a C turn. And already just the first pick coming out from Footmob, who it was the Mercy earlier, but now Rien takes care of the healing. Footmob moves on over to the Hanzo, thinking that they have the better advantage there, and we will see how that turns out. But already this team from All for One pushing this payload even further around the first 2 turns and into the home stretch of the first point already. So basically One for All up against the wall right now, and basically up against that first point door right now.
Yeah, and Iron Crit is in the back line. I mean, geez, this is the power of dive, ladies and gentlemen. They just kind of overtake you and separate you guys. It's super powerful, and Fixer will fall, and it seems like a first point.
And it is going to be a first point indeed. The payload moves right up to that door with ease. 5:20 left to go on the clock for them to take the second point, and a shorter second point, because there's only 1 turn to get to that second point, and this is going to be a very long turn, because there are a few team fight spots that could happen, and it's just right now One for All's got to find an answer to stop this All for One team.
Oh, Rien was caught out there with no one to help him. He seemed like he was the only one out there. Look at that, both supports are going to go down on the side for One for All. That's a huge stagger. This is the power of dive. These DPS are not even fighting on point. I mean, man, look at this. It's so powerful. The Genji and the Mercy are just moving the point all by themselves, while the rest of the team's out there fighting. And that's just the pressure that could put on you as a team, and it's just so hard to recover from that.
And so now it's up to One for All to try and stop this, because the power of the dive combo right now is taking down All for One, or All for One's dive rather is taking down One for All, and really just they do not have an answer. And you even see the ult economy. Iron Crit just already disrespecting Centennial on top with that pulse bomb, and now the Dragon Blade comes out right in that room for them, takes down Footmob. Programmer's gonna try a few swings here, trying to get anything going. And so right now you can see my view is just the payload right now, and this payload just keeps moving along. No help at all from anywhere on One for All. And now another 1.5 minutes stacked on top of 4 minutes. They have 5.5 to move this payload to the final point.
I don't even think they contested it once. That's just how powerful it is. But Centennial is going to switch over to that Brigitte, and that is the answer to Dive. That's why Dive has kind of been falling out recently, just because of the nerfs to Tracer and the addition to Brigitte. And I think that's a great switch because now you can try to have a fighting chance.
They're going to try to fight as much as they can here. 3 ults coming up for one for all. The Valkyrie and the Transcendence popped by Rihanna and VMT at the same time. So I guess trying to get some heals and some damage at the same time. Deadeye comes out. Really not going to get anyone for Foot Mob. Back in the back line. Great play by Fixer there. Throws the shield right in front of the self-destruct, but it's still not enough as Iron Crit has himself a triple kill, takes down all 3 supports of the team from one for all, and make that 4 on Axiom. So right now, almost, I don't know if Athena called a team kill right there, but one for all just cannot find the answer. And Iron Crit right now looking like the best player of this group right now.
Oh man, absolutely popping off on that DPS line. Just insane play. That's how aggressive Tracer could be, and you need to kind of regroup and recuperate, and they are going to switch over to this Reaper, and we'll see if that makes a difference.
And here's where it becomes hard, because now 4:20 on the clock, the payload in the home stretch, and this is where the defense starts to pop out. Your Footmob moves on over to the Reaper, and now Pro Gamer throws out the Dragon Blade, trying to get anything, but Footmob ends the reign of the Genji. Pro Gamer. And so for the first time I think I've seen this game, one for all finally with a good defensive hold. For 4 minutes on the clock, that is dangerous because that payload is so close to being for the 3rd point.
Yeah, it's so close, but I mean, this defense just needs to use that spawn advantage to the side. They switched to a dive-esque defense because they're just going to try to run head-to-head to almost mirror these guys, except for the DPS line, and the Valkyrie is going to be popped.
Valkyrie is popped on the other side by Sky, so right now it's just a healing game between these 2 teams. Rian moves on over to the Ana, so that's going to be a huge choice there because Centennial, not too much healing. It's shot for shot or armor from Centennial, so not much constant healing going on the side of one for all, but it's still a push and shove. Boss Bomb lands up on top of the Centennial. Footmob does get the Death Blossom kill as well. Now the self-destruct. Question of the choice is Bryce T getting a double kill on Axiom and Footmob. So that's going to be a good play for them. All for One has the chance to win this right now, but is going to back up with Fixer and VMT. So even if Bryce T has himself a double kill right there, that is not enough to force All for One to push his payload up, and another minute melted off the clock.
Yeah, another minute melted off, but I think the only reason One for All was able to win that was because of the spawn advantage. If you get people alternating on dying, like 3 are alive, 3 are dead, and then they just keep alternating like that. That's good for the defense because then they can just stay alive for a really, really long time. And yeah, it was all spawn advantage there.
Adam's going to bring out the Transcendence as well as Centennial bringing out the rally, but right now in a 2 rate, it is One for All winning the battle so far. Iron Crit decides to move on from the Tracer and now tries to play the Junkrat, but Rian is right there to take him down, and Axiom on the Diva is pretty much just going to end the team fight here. Bryce T just sitting there basically out of mech until somebody takes him down here. Rian's just going to sleep Bryce T. Oh, Rian, the disrespect. Rian, the absolute disrespect. My man.
Oh my goodness.
Rian,
some tactical crouching.
Would you call that tactical crouching? I don't know if you'd call that tactical crouching more than you would call that the disrespect.
The disrespect.
Yeah, and even Bryce is like, that's rude in chat right now, but you know that One for All had that team fight, so I guess Rian can celebrate just a little bit there. But now it's All for One's turn to push up, and who knows, we may very well see the same thing. Except that Bryce takes down Rian first. Right now, the Primal Rage comes out from Fixer, just trying to swipe away anything that All for One has coming at him. Adam goes down by the hands of that Primal Rage, and Fixer's finally going to end the reign of Pro Gamer. The Reptile coming out from Iron Crit. A lot of steps right now, and Footmob gets a triple kill with a Death Blossom. Santa Maria! What a play from Footmob here on Route 66. Finally gets a play that is worthy of play of the game, really, that Death Blossom coming out and winning it. And here's the replay of that Death Blossom from Footmob, and a huge play by him, getting 3 kills and really winning the battle for One for All on the defense.
Yeah, and they have a minute left, and they still have, some ults to kind of challenge it. There's a couple delay ults in there with the power booster, and look, it's going to go right into the Winston.
And now the Nano Boost going, like you said, right up to the Winston. Self-destruct happening. It's a little bit delayed. I don't know as to why, but that self-destruct really holding off there and everybody having time. Bryce D's gonna get out of mech, so we'll see if Rien is there to take him down. In the meantime, up on the shield, everybody is on this payload, and the payload moves even further, but still not at that 66.31 meters left, so they're trying to push it as far as they can here. And now All For One here in the background. There's the self-destruct, and not really getting anybody there from Axiom. Now the Riptire comes out from Ironcrit just to save some face here. Looks for the background kills, waiting for anybody to pop out. Not gonna get anybody, but the payload moves even further here. VMD there to stall with the Transcendence, goes down to the hands of Big Head's Winston. And now Fixer trying to help out his team with that, with the Primal Rage coming out. Gets Adam in the background and also takes down Sky. So a chance of heals or a chance of resist is gone. And Footmob is like, I did that earlier. Takes down Pro Gamer already with that Death Blossom. He's like, I did that already and I can do it better. Takes it down, and finally the defensive one for all is there. 66.31 meters and 2 points for All For One in this try, but not able to get the third point. And One For All has the door just a little bit peeked open, but they have a chance to win their first game here on Route 66.
Yeah, absolutely, and I think the composition switch was the key there. Like we said, we pointed out earlier, they switched a lot. Rien was on Mercy, and then went over to Ana, and then we had Centennial bringing out the Brigitte, and that was the huge difference. Is they're running dive against you, you have to counter dive, and you know Ana's sleep definitely a counter dive. If Tracer's trying to dive you in the back line, I mean, the sleep could be like the answer to that. And I think that was the key, was just switching up, trying to counter dive. And that was what made them stall out for so long. You know, Spawn Advantage helped them out just a tad. But still, otherwise, great compositional switch.
And a great switch indeed for One For All. And now they're going to have a chance to start off with the attack here, with 1 minute left to go on the prepare to attack phase. And now All For One needs to defend this point. 2 points and 66.30 meters is all that they can give. And One For All, finally they have a shot at their first point here, and they could make this a series here too. And you can see a little bit, and you can go back to the chat here if you might be looking at the game chat like me and Pulse are. Rien and Bryce T have a little bit of thing going on right now. Based on that last thing, they have a little bit of a quarrel going on, because if you were watching the stream about a couple of minutes ago, Rien decided to do something that was a little rude, a little disrespectful on Bryce T.
A little disrespectful, yeah.
A little disrespectful, but Bryce T looking to get vengeance on him right now.
Yeah, yikes. Okay, so as these teams are going to start moving out here, on the defensive side, we see the Hanzo and the Sombra. Sombra's not usually something we see too much, but I'm actually super excited. I'm going to keep my eyes on Ironcrit this whole time. If you get, a hack onto one of the tanks, that'll be huge.
And so we will see Ironcrit, yes, on the Sombra now, looking for anywhere in the back, and actually a very fast defense here by Ironcrit in that background. Already a fifth of the way to his ult in that background, just gonna glitch back, and it's still gonna stay in the background actually, and BMD notices him right away. He's gonna glitch back into the tunnel and maybe try and come back to his team. In the meantime, sorry.
No, I mean, just that Sombra. Oh, and look, he's gonna bring down Centennial. I mean, that's the value that Sombra gives you, and with the hacks, I mean, man, Sombra is just a secretly good character.
Sombra usually a character that you don't usually see with these team comps here in OTC, but Sombra finally being pulled out. Footmob gets the important pick. That's the one you want. That's the one you want on Sky, with any chance of a res or heals coming out of play for a little while. So right now, as we all know, once the Mercy goes down, basically everyone's got to back them, and that's exactly what they do. Everybody grouped up on that payload, waiting for the Mercy to come in. But still, One For All just defenseless right now without the Mercy. All For One, or One For All, now has the advantage of pushing up the payload.
Yeah, and look at the nano, or the nano blade's gonna come onto the Winston, and what the, oh my goodness! I want a replay on that. That was huge. Footmob is gonna try to use the EMP. He will get a kill on the VMD, but that's not gonna really do much when you're all there by yourself. But there was a grenade tossed in by Rien, and that made everybody go purple. And with the nano boosted Winston going into that, taser is just going to do so much damage, and you can't even heal from it. Man, that was insane play from Rien.
And so Rien dropping that nano boost as well as the grenade, a huge play as well. And I don't know if we have a replay for that. I don't think we don't have a replay for that, unfortunately, but a great play by Rien nonetheless. So they move this around with just over 5 minutes to go. They have the payload moving into the second point, and right now it is looking good for All For One at this point, because now All For One just cannot find an answer for what One For All is giving right now.
Yeah, and I think the value Ana is giving right now is it cannot be understated. Ooh, a charge onto the bomb, and he was able to save his whole team. Big Head showing his all-star potential here. Insane.
Big Head with a big brain on that. That was a huge play, and so that allows the team from All For One finally to get themselves going. Iron Crit with a double kill to play off there, and finally we see One For All stopped at this payload point, and stopped earlier on because you saw back on the first try, All For One not even contested on the point, and they're trying to flip that story around on One For All side. Now they're playing aggressive on their side, and now One For All's got to find an answer and quick.
Yeah, and One For All, VMD does have the Transcendence, and that can cancel out that Graviton Surge combined with the Dragon. So that's something you definitely want to get rid of. And Iron Crit in the back line, jeez.
Talk about a thorn in the side. How about a thorn in the back line from Iron Crit?
Yeah, we're going to get a replay of that. Look at them diving into the back line. Oof. Insane. Nobody paid attention to that tracer. But like I was saying, VMD, you need to draw that out if you're All For One. You need to make sure that the Transcendence is used before you try to use that Graviton combined with the Dragon.
And so now we're going to see the Graviton Surge being pulled up right there. VMD pulls out the Transcendent, but is it enough? Pro Gamer's going to get one, gets two, and gets the third kill on Santonio. Santa Maria, what a play from Pro Gamer, and he's got himself 3 kills along with 2 other kills coming from Big Head and Adam. So once again, All For One with another good defensive hold, 250 on the clock, and One For All has to find an answer, has to find it fast. Sky up with a Valkyrie, and Iron Crit with that dangerous pulse bomb coming up, and Fixer, the only one now, has the primal rage, but that's about it coming for One For All rather.
Yeah, I don't know how that trans didn't cancel out the Dragon, but hey, that's all right. Maybe they just split up a little bit. And look, this Tracer is still in the backline, tossing that pulse bomb in there.
So we're gonna see the primal rage come out, and now really the team on One For All side. We're gonna see if anything happens. We're gonna see if anything comes out of it here. All For One could save it here. Iron Crit throws out the pulse bomb, not getting anyone in the background, but it's still in the driver's seat is All For One. And they have themselves another good defensive hold. So 2 minutes left to go. If you're One For All right now, you got to be worried because you got to get this point up to try and avoid what could be a potential sweep.
Yeah, I don't like that they're not switching up the comp. Okay, they are going to switch up the comp just a little bit. Centennial is going to go on to the Hanzo, and Axiom is going to take over that Zarya role. And okay, so we do have a switch coming out here. I just didn't like. I would have been sad if they didn't switch it up because clearly they're running this comp, and it was working for them for a little bit, but you need to switch it up.
3 ults coming up. Now Pro Gamer's going to decide to use the Dragon Strike right on the side. Very smart play. Takes down Centennial in the process. No, and I don't know if he had Sixth Sense on Centennial that he switched on over to Hanzo, but anything you can do, I can do better. Pro Gamer basically throws that one on to Centennial. He goes down, and right now it is still the driver's seat for All For One as he gets the Sky gets the rest on Pro Gamer. Their football takes it down, but right now, how about, okay, first of all, Fixer goes down with a double kill, but who needs a sniper when you have VMD on the Zenyatta? You have, okay, tell me not, you have a Widowmaker, you have a Hanzo. You might want to add a third sniper, and his name is VMD, and that is on the Zenyatta, because right now he is playing well.
Yeah, Bryce T was asleep on the floor, and then Big Head went over to shield him. VMD just, held down his right click and went right past him and just put on a whole burst into Bryce T. That was just huge play. Oh, look at the cancel.
Cancel out of the pulse bomb. VMD is there to use the Transcendence, and now it's time for One For All to make their play here. Iron Crit in the background, nobody really paying attention to him because he's going to get some damage here, but Fixer, 2 kills so far, winning the battle, but it's still now a push and shove situation, and Big Head takes down Bryce T takes down Fixer as well after the charge on him. And finally, we're going to see All For One come up big. 15 seconds left to go. The question is, can anybody get there in time because they are far away from the point? 10 seconds is all that is left. Somebody needs to get to the point, and somebody needs to get there now. 5 seconds left to go. Tries to get on the point. Is anybody going to get there? They're too far away, and All For One has the broom peeking out of the closet. They're 1 win away as they get their kicks here on Route 66.
Yeah, man, All For One is definitely showing why they are all-stars out here today. Iron Crit, and it's just absolutely popping off as Pro Gamer is going to get this play of the game on Hanzo, and this was the Dragon, which I don't see why the Trends didn't cancel that Dragon, but hey, I guess it's something I wasn't paying attention to, the Storm Arrow to get that final kill, and man, both these teams are popping off, and that's absolutely insane. And Iron Crit, just showing why he's such a good tracer player. I mean, diving in that backline, no one's paying attention to him.
No one paying attention to him at all, and that's why Iron Crit. You said thorn in the side, but he's probably a thorn in the side, the back, the front, and anywhere else you can figure, because Iron Crit is just going all over this place on One For All side and just absolutely dominating the floor with One For All side. But let's not forget, One For All also has a third sniper in them, and that is VMD, because this Zenyatta from VMD going off right now and showing off his stuff. And VMD, one of the OTC admins, but showing off why he's an admin / all-star.
Yeah, absolutely. Just before this quick break, if you like what you've seen here, you could join our Discord and join a team or start up one just for yourself. I mean, it's all up to you. The link is in the description, or you could type !Discord in the chat and you'll get the link there. Join our Discord, start a team. Hey, become a producer. Even do whatever you want.
Become a producer. Come on, guys.
Become a producer. Yeah, absolutely.
And as very well, yeah, join the Discord. You can start up a team, or you start up a team, join a team even. We have, I believe the free agent showcase was just the other day, and what a showcase it was. Team Zan wiping the floor with Team Rian there in the final battle, but nonetheless, all the free agents showing off their stuff. So plenty of potentials for teams coming in, and you're going to see plenty more plays coming in, because now we have additional teams coming in the next season, and this is a season that you really want to pay attention to.
Yeah, absolutely. Season 5 is going to be pretty insane. But right now we are at the Season 4 All-Stars for NA, and as we move on to Kings Row, it is going to be another hybrid map coming out here, and it's going to be, a very popular pick. Kings Row is. And that's okay. We're in NA, so we saw Route 66, and now we're going to hop over to London.
So now we get to go into London. Kings Row here. And like you said, a very popular map. This is one where, one, it either gets banned, or two, you always see it banned, or two, you always see it played. And there's a reason for that, because Kings Row allows for so many opportunities of different play styles. And really, this is going to be one where we get to finally see maybe the best of the best team comps come on for both sides, because All For One, peeking with that broomstick out of the closet right now. One For All needs to shut that closet door right now here on Kings Row, as they're going to have themselves the first try on defense.
Yeah. Then One For All, there is a tiny bit of desperation in there. We do have some subs. No more Zentenio out of the side of One For All. Zuko is going to come in and be the replacement. So that'll be. We'll see if Zuko could bring anything new to the table in this All-Star games. Everyone's is going to try to get a chance to play here. And like you said, One For All definitely doesn't want to get swept here.
And so now we're going to see the All For One team with the first try in the attack. You take a look at the team comp here, and pretty much the same thing that we saw earlier. Now Iron Crit, we saw him on the Tracer. We saw him earlier as well on the Pharah. Now we're going to try we're going to try a double sniper comp here. If that is the case, Iron Crit moves on over to the Hanzo, and Randolfo now on the Widowmaker. That was very effective back on Eichenwald. We're going to see if that works out. Zuko, like you said, on the Widowmaker now. So Rian switching back on over to the tank plays, and Footmob back onto healer. This time the Zenyatta, and VMT now has the responsibility of the Mercy.
Yeah, Rian is going to go back onto that off-tank role, and you know what? Double snipers for both these teams coming out here. You already mentioned it, but that could be such a huge thing, because that means a lot of bodies will be dropped. When it seems like they have full health, and all of a sudden they have absolutely nothing.
So we're going to see already, we're going to see if One For All can defend this point all the way through. And it would be very good if they defended this point all the way through, because One For All needs it right now. And if they would have the open area to do so here. But it's still All For One that's taking over this point with ease. Gets the first stick with ease as Big Head takes down Fixer in the background. Ren's just shaking, trying to get some damage there, but not really getting anything down. And Adam's going to punish him for even trying some more damage. So already under a minute, 50 seconds into the game, and All For One has Big Ben striking forward and the payload moving.
Yeah, the payload will start getting moved here, and I just think that was just the DPS in that fight. I mean, the DPS on the side of All For One were definitely seemed like they were doing a little bit more. I mean, Hanzo has the ult, while Axiom is only at 42%. I mean, that should show you how much which Hanzo was doing a lot more damage. And I just feel like the DPS were putting pressure on the front line, while the DPS on the side of One For All weren't doing as much.
And so now we will see One for All try their best to hold off on this point, but 5 minutes is plenty of time, and this is usually a spot where you don't see big defenses come out. It's that final stretch when you see the big defenses come out. A huge Earth Shatter coming in from Fixer. It's going to swing away the hammer. That's one. That's two. Zuko takes down Bryce T in the finale, as well as takes down Adam. So what a team play. Randolfo, the only one to live through the massacre. Actually, Fixer's like, let me just get the whole team real quick. Gets basically half of the team there. Randolfo going to be staggered off a little bit, but what an Earth Shatter there. The only ult to be used in that play from One for All, and that is going to be it. Actually, VMD also uses the Valkyrie too, so 2 ults being used there, but One for All finally wins their first battle.
Yeah, and One for All, the switch coming on to Zuko. Zuko got 3 in that fight, while Fixer got the other 3. But man, I mean, that was a great substitution. I think Zuko showing why he's an all-star as well. Even though he's on the bench, but Randolfo is going to kind of counter him there.
Randolfo winning the Widowmaker battle for once there. And VMT is going to res Zuko because they need that damage. But it's still coming in as All for One, pushing up this payload. Now the Graviton Surge comes up. That's 3 people in there. And Iron Crit is going to get the Dragon Strike kill on VMD, but Randolfo and Bryce T1 in on it too. They get a total of 4 kills in that Graviton Surge. And right now, All for One looking good. 3:50 on the clock to push this payload the rest of the way, coming up in the final meters of point number 2.
Oh no, Foot Bomb's all alone. He was the only one to live out of that fight, and a lot of pressure getting put on him by Iron Crit. But look at that. All the ults are going to come out for the side of One for All, so maybe they can turn this around.
One for All brings out the Graviton Surge, but Adam is there to use the Transcendence, and not much coming. And Dragon Strike a little late on the back.
Yeah.
Getting anywhere there, and Axiom does get the kill on Iron Crit to start off, but will it be enough to win the battle for One for All? And Axiom moves on over to this, or Axiom on this Hanzo right now, looking good. The double sniper combo winning the battle right now for One for All, and Rian's just going to end it by killing Adam. So that is going to be it for that's going to be it for All for One. The clock melted off a little bit more, but 3 minutes, still plenty of time considering where this payload is right now.
Yeah, and you know what? That's such a big reset, actually, just because usually when they cap the second point, their spawn is right around the corner. But since they didn't cap the point, they have to go all the way back to the clock tower and walk all the way back here. So they bought themselves around 15 seconds with that stagger.
So we're going to see already the Transcendence come out from Footmob. Doesn't even need the Transcendence to go ahead and do that. Or it doesn't even need, rather, the Graviton Surge to go ahead and use that Transcendence, but it's going to come out swinging. Big Head takes down the big boss, Rien, right there with that charge, and same thing, Big Head's going to try another tackle. Not much there, but Axiom, how about the sniper from Axiom right now? Gets a triple kill, both on Iron Crit, Randolfo, and Adam, but the Hanzo not enough to strike fear as Bryce T's going to take down Axiom, and we see this point coming up, 1.5 minutes additional time coming up for All for One in 3.5 minutes. Plenty of time to get it to the final point.
Yeah, and if you're a One for All, you definitely don't want them to get that final point. You know, obviously, just because you're trying to win, obviously you don't want that. But still, you don't want it in particular just because when you start to push, you want to try to push it to win. You don't want to push it to get it to the next round. You want to definitely push it to try to get a win.
Graviton Surge comes out. That's 3 people there. The question is the follow-up. Dragon Strike coming right down the middle. Does get 1, but Bryce T's like, we don't need you, Iron Crit, for now. Bryce T gets 2 kills on Rhea and VMD, who were in that Graviton Surge. And so right now, it is the Bryce T show with those Graviton Surges, because right now, the Zarya just outplaying everything One for All has.
Man, all of these people are showing us why they are all-stars, and that was just a huge, huge dragon. A Graviton especially. I mean, that just... it throws a team off balance when you have to kind of get grouped up in the Graviton. And look at the aggression that that Big Head is putting out there.
Fixer brings out the Earth Shatter. It's going to get a few people. Bryce T is in there, but is just going to swing away. But it's it's Adam with that Transcendence. And Randolfo falls off the map for one reason or another. Doesn't say if anybody killed him, but Randolfo does fall off them. So does Bryce T, so I guess they are resetting for some reason, one way or another, but One for All is going to have a defensive hold with 2:15 on the clock.
Yeah, they are just going to do a full-on reset, but Randolfo does have sights, so you do have to be careful. And look, he's going to pop it instantly. He knows where everybody is right now.
And you can see, though, it's not much of a vision because everybody on the point right now, so you're going to see the only one really need to worry about is Axiom with that infrared sight, which they will notice right away. So Axiom taking the higher ground right now, trying to get a few picks, and now Big Head's going to start swinging away that hammer. You can see Fixer actually the main point there because he had an Orb of Discord, and the Orb of Harmony,
Ooh.
but with the heals as well. Graviton Surge right there. Where's the Dragon Strike though, coming right down the middle of the point? And that is not, that is actually going to DMX Bryce T. So right now it looks like the battle is going to be won by One for All. Rian takes down Adam, and Bryce T is just going to fall off the map to reset. So right now, One for All in the driver's seat.
Oh.
You gotta feel good about that right now. Axiom in the back. How far was that shot? Takes down Iron Crit while he was resetting. And so a big stagger for them, and One for All has themselves the driver's seat right now. Reverses the payload just a little bit, but still 52.58 meters. That is a lot of way that payload just moved.
Yeah, and you do have both support ults coming out here, so you can live for a very long time. And Axiom's gonna get the intro pick on the big head. The main tank being gone is such a huge thing.
Bryce T also goes down by the hands of Zuko. Just, you only really need Zuko there because of the power boost. Also by Mercy, as well as the assist from also from the assist on Footmob as well. So really this sniper from Zuko working well for the team for One for All, and has the picks when he needs them. And now the infrared sight, they know where they are. And One for All has one more chance to defend this point with 30 seconds left to go.
Yeah, Zuko, you can see why he's such a weapon off that bench. I mean, he's just such a tracking and hit scan like god, essentially. You can see why he is an all-star.
Earth Shatter comes down right on Big Head, and actually he's going to get the tackle on T. Not enough to kill him, though, and probably will demech him unless the heals are just enough. And it is. Bryce T will take down Fixer in the process, so he was all by himself in the background. And that's going to cause a huge stagger, because now both tanks are gone for the team from All for One. The payload finally gets around the next turn, and we're in the home stretch here on King's Row.
Yeah, it was a good job pushing that all the way to overtime. It was a good defense from One for All, but like you said, they could totally crush this out here just because of the stagger.
Dragon Strike comes right down. Iron Crit brings out the Dragon Blade. That Dragon Strike not getting anything. Iron Crit does get one, does get two, but is that going to be enough? Now the Graviton Surge comes in. Fixer just swinging away the hammer with a triple kill. And the Rise coming up from Sky. That's going to bring out Bryce T on this D.Va. Is he going to get back in the mech? Yes, he does. So Bryce T can hold this even further now. And now the self-destruct coming in. The question is where? And it's not going to be enough to take down anybody. And still trying his best. Fixer actually tackles Bryce T off the point, so that is 2 points. And pretty much the same scenario back on the last map on Route 66. 2 points, but a very far push on the payload, and One for All, final chance to win their first point.
Yeah, and this is exactly what I was talking about. They didn't make it all the way to that third point, so now One for All is playing on this push to win. They're not trying to play for a better time bank or to get, you know, an advantage on the second time they go through. No, they only need to go through it one time, and this is win or go home right now.
And let's talk about the one person that coming off the bench is making a huge difference here on One for All. Zuko with that Widowmaker has been so effective, even with the power boost and everything. He's making it look easy right now. It's like the Avatar. It's like the Avatar: The Last Airbender season only needed one scene because he found them pretty quick. It's like instead of 3 books, you only needed 1 for Zuko just to find the dang Avatar. You only needed 1 episode. Finds the light, gets the kill, and so Zuko really being an effective player off the bench right now for One for All.
Yeah, and oh, look at this, Iron Crit on to that Pharaoh. We haven't seen Iron Crit on that Pharaoh since the first map, since all the way over on Nepal, and he absolutely popped off. And like we said, Thorn in the side, that could be the difference maker here. Rendolfo is going to go into the Widowmaker, and I feel like the strategy here is to let Iron Crit kind of be like the main DPS that's on the front lines. You know, everybody's going to be focused on Iron Crit. You're going to have the pharmacy in the air. It's going to be such a scary thing. And then while the shields are kind of pointed up towards the Pharah, Randolph is going to take that opportunity and find any stragglers who aren't behind the shield or get displaced by Iron Crit's concussive blast. And so that's what could be the difference maker here is if these DPS work in tandem. But One for All, I mean, definitely is playing to win right now. So they're going to bring out the triple. They're going to bring out the quad tank, actually. A strategy I haven't seen in a little while, but hey, it could work, especially if they're super aggressive.
And you're going to see All for One basically looking to see if they come out the middle, but nobody comes out the middle. And they're going to, One for All is going to try and surprise All for One with the Steam Comp right now. They're going to come around the corner, and I think All for One may have just gasped at looking at the Steam Comp. 4 tanks and 2 supports here in the One for All here, and it's the more Lucio meatball combo here right now for One for All coming in. And right now it is working because I mean, they have a 2-for-1 trade right now. Only one that gets demixed is Zuko from Randolfo. But right now, I think one for all, just surprising the heck out of All for One. And I don't think they expected this whatsoever. But Iron Crit and Randolfo, the dual DPS right now working well for the team on All for One. And really not much going for All for One. Does get at least guarantees themselves the first hit. Rien takes out the Thorn of Iron Crit. And they may very well have the point here. The only one left to defend this point is Bryce T and Big Head, who goes down. Some more ticks, but right now it's just a push and shove in favor of One for All right now.
Sky getting that res on the Iron Crate. I mean, look, these guys are all all-stars, and Iron Crate may have shut down this, but the Coalescence is going to keep One for All in that fight. But look, we don't talk about the support line too much, just because DPS and tank lines are just a little bit more flashy. But all of these guys are all-stars, and that res from Sky, that was so good because he started the res, and then he kind of looked down at the floor, and that's because he's trying to avoid the headshots, and that's what you could do as a Mercy to kind of improve your play, up the ante, and you know why they're all-stars. And just great play. The quad tank comp, I just think just puts so much health on the point. It's absolutely huge.
And now One for All has Big Ben strike 4 for them as they get the payload moving with 5 minutes on the clock. You're going to see Zuko move on over to the Widowmaker, but still 3 tanks remain. And Footmob and BMD have the responsibility of the healings right now. But it's Randolfo that's trying to show off his stuff along with Iron Crate in that background with the dual DPS. And so they are just having a push and shove battle right now. 1-for-1 trade so far. And Zuko gets the important pick on Iron Crate, but not before Sky is right there to res him. So Iron Crit, still the Thorn, is still alive at this point. Needs to find a way here. They're going to try and stagger now. Here comes One for All with their charge.
Look, if Zuko is a hit scan specialist, I think that's a great move to bring him out. And there's a big shout out to the point. And look, they're just gonna everyone's gonna die here from All for One. The only one that's gonna stay alive is Iron Crit, just because he has those movement abilities. But Zuko is gonna take him out, and that goes back to my original point. Zuko is just such a weapon off the bench. If he is a hit scan specialist, and earlier in the game, Iron Crit on that Pharah was the Thorn in your side, bringing him off the bench is such a good move, just because Zuko is essentially here to take care of that Pharah, something the rest of the team couldn't do without him. And now, look, he's here having a Widow duel.
Having the Widow duel and actually winning it right now, but take a look at the ult economy. One of them being used as that Graviton Surge coming in on the red side. For All for One side, and that is not going to be enough for One for All to follow up. The payload does move a little bit further though, so that's going to help. Randolfo takes out Footmob, but 1.26 meters, and now the Graviton Surge right on the point. The question is the follow-up, and Bryce T is right there to sweep up the rest of the team. Not a team kill, not quite a team kill, because Fixer is alive at that point, but One for All now just shut down by the team from All for One, and the payload reverses with just under 3 meters to go on that point, or just over a meter left to go on that point. It's going to reverse out.
Yeah, and that's just kind of rough, just because they were so close to capping that second point. You kind of wish that they did, and just because now their spawn is so far back, and they have to run all the way back here, and that just gives time for the defense to kind of set up. And look at this Tracer. Iron Crit's kind of dancing around, switches off the Pharah just because he knows he's getting shut down by Zuko, so he's going to try to switch it up. Maybe try to dive into that backline.
And try that backline indeed and see if he can get in there. You can see him right behind everything. And now you're going to see Transcendence being popped already by Footmob in the process, trying to get in the backline here. And Adam takes down Zuko, so how about another sniper kill from Zenyatta's coming out? That's going to be Adam taking down Zuko. And still, right now in the driver's seat is All for One, because Iron Crit still the Thorn Thorn everywhere, basically, for One for All. And right now, All for One just has the answer. One for All just has the dial tone on their telephone right now.
Yeah, and they're losing momentum, and it seems like One for All is a momentum-based team. We talked about it earlier, and if they're a train that's just rolling along and they automatically just get halted, like they hit a wall that the train just couldn't bust through, it's hard for them to start up the train again. It's hard for them to get moving again, start the engine again, and they need to do it quickly because they're down to a minute and a half.
In a minute and a half it is, and Randolfo wins the sniper battle on Zuko before VND is there to res. So right now, you know that Randolfo's got to feel good about that, even if Zuko is res. And so right now, One for All just looking for an answer here with a minute to go.
Ooh, Iron Crit in this backline, taking him out behind, Fixer's Reinhardt shield. Insane.
And gets the pulse bomb kill indeed, so that is going to push back All for One. And again, like we said earlier, on. It's like there's an invisible wall. Back in the EU games, it's like that invisible wall is here now for All For One, pushing back One For All. With 50 seconds left to go, One For All's got to find an answer here. They need that second point to have a chance at trying to win their first game.
Yeah, and this I feel like is going to be the final fight, and the ult's advantage, you know, it kind of is even right now because both tanks from the side of One For All are going to have their ults up pretty much by the time this fight starts, and BMD does have Valkyrie, so you do have to be careful here, and it's just going to be a very scrappy fight. So we'll see how this goes down.
Ooh. And we're going to see Axiom already take care of Iron Crit, so that takes care of some big damage there. Now the Graviton Surge coming out. The question is the follow-up. Big Hit's just going to try and swing the hammer away. But it's Fixer that's right there to stop him, and gets himself a Fire Strike, a hammer, and a charge kill. Santa Maria, what a play from Fixer there. He's going to have himself a good team. He's just going to push up already, knowing that he's gotten himself the point for the team. 5 people on the point, and we will see an additional minute and a half. Or Iron Crit is right there, trying to disrupt anything. Is going to rewind 6 onto the point, and that allows All For One to come back here in the final 3 meters.
Oh, man.
And finally, Zuko takes down, Footmom takes down Iron Crit. Zuko takes down Randolfo, and just in time, a minute and a half back on the clock for One For All.
Yeah, and VND is going to stay on this point just to get it moving, and you know, you definitely want to savor every single second that you have. Axiom is low, so he's going to retreat to get some healing, and you do have the Graviton Strike, the Graviton Surge, and the Dragon Strike combination coming up, so that could be very deadly and end it out. And man, look at this. Iron Crit still in that backline, still trying to get a cheeky pick there, but Axiom is going to be back there trying to shut him down.
Rien also has that Graviton Surge, has 4 people going. The Transcendence comes up. The Dragon Strikes are going to come right down the middle. It's get anybody. Zuko with the down. Santa Maria. Sky and Iron Crit go down by the hands of the Deadeye there. But it's still in the hands of All For One right now, winning the battle 2-1 on the point. Make it 2-0 now as Rien goes down. 37 seconds left to go. And basically, it's in the hands of All For One right now. They're in the driver's seat. 30 seconds left to go. One For All, the final attempt. Will it be a win for One For All, or will it be the sweep for All For One?
Yeah, we're about to see here the final 20 seconds. Philmon switching on to the Lucio just to give him time on there. Iron Crit in the background. Oh, he almost one-clipped Zuko. Zuko is so low, he's going to get some healing from his supports, and everyone's going to go back and support them. But you have 10 seconds. You have to get on this cart.
Earthshatter also coming in, takes down a few people, but then Fixer's right there to take care of someone. That hammer swing takes down Big Head. So now it goes into overtime. The final try here for One For All. The final 5 meters to go, just over 5 meters left to go here. Transcendence is going to be popped by Adam in here to get his team some heals and stall out the team for All For One in the process. A 1-for-1 trade. Iron Crit does take down VMD and Axiom. Those are 2 huge kills. Rien and VMD the only one left. And Zuko the only one there. Rien is the only one on the point. Needs to get there fast. The only one left to go is the Lucio. Footmob is right there just in time on the overtime. Graviton Surge comes out. The question is the follow-up, and that is it here on Kings Row. What a defensive hold by All For One. They take the crown. They're not good, they're not great, they're not just all-stars, they are golden here on Kings Row, and brings out the broom from the closet, sweeps the series in a 4-0 fashion.
Oh goodness, All For One and One For All both showing us why they're absolute all-stars. Great plays, and look at this. This was the play from Fixer, and he was on the losing team. You know, he still gets the play of the game, and you know, Fixer, a very aggressive Reinhardt, and he showed why he's an all-star. Everybody showed why they're an all-star today. Man, what great games we've seen so far here today. Oh boy, this was the NA All-Star game. Man, what a play.
What, not just what a play, but what a game on both sides. You notice that these guys are all-stars. They are the best of the best here in the OTC community, and they just showed off. And once again, the score does not reflect what went on here, because All For One putting on a show, and if I may make a pun out of this, All For One went all 4-0 because they had a lot of good plays, and especially the one person I think we can talk about here is Iron Crit, because an Iron Crit was just in a big thorn in the side, as we've been saying all game long, a big thorn in the side for One For All, and that may have made the difference.
Yeah, Iron Crit is definitely my all-star MVP. Absolutely insane, no matter what hero is on Trace or Pharah. Just a DPS god coming out here, kind of shutting down One For All, even when it felt like, you know, One For All maybe have this fight, they get 1 or 2, they get 2 or 3 kills onto the side of All For One, but then Iron Crit just comes in here out of nowhere, no matter what hero is on, shuts him down. I just think these two teams were very, very close, but All For One just got the better hand of it.
And I would say I would agree with you for the fact that Iron Crit was the player of the game, but I would say that on the other side too, you cannot ignore what Fixer did this game.
Yep.
Fixer on this Reinhardt, one of the biggest players. I hate to disagree with you here, but Fixer was my player of the game, even though he did get on
okay.
4-0. He did get that play of the game you saw earlier with that Reinhardt, that Earth Shatter coming in huge for one for all, and that made the difference as they pushed up that payload. But all game long, even though it was 2-0, 5-4, 2-1, and 3-2 in favor of All for One, I think Fixer's got my vote for All-Star MVP.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, both of those are all deserving. In fact, all of these guys are all deserving. This was the NA Overtime Champions All-Star Game for Season 4. Remember, guys, just keep an eye out on this channel for all of the Season 5 action we got coming towards you. You know, it's about to get amped up. Everyone get hyped because these All-Stars are going to kind of take this momentum that they have here and carry it on in Season 5, and we'll see how that all turns out. But for the day, I was Pulse. I was your color caster. And then this is my partner right here, Clutch Key, on the play-by-play. Morai was our producer, and Toadette was our match referee. So thank you, everyone, for joining here on this NA All-Star Game.
Thank you guys very much, and we'll see you in the future. Take care, folks.